Hello there and welcome to the channel, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about the 5 most common mistakes made when planting camellias. The lovely camellia here, I can see it's not in flower. This is black lace, Camellia japonica black lace, absolutely beautiful. It's got a very lovely red, deep red flower, very sort of designed sort of petal layout. Anyway, enough of this, let's skip to the intro and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, now the first big mistake that people tend to make when they're planting camellias is, what do you think that would be, Donna?
The wrong soil type.
It is. It's almost every time it's the wrong soil type. Now, camellias, they're a Chinese plant. Camellia japonica, mainly Chinese. No, it's got japonica in the name. You do find them in Japan. You do find them in Korea. They are a plant that is considered to be an ericaceous plant. And plants which are ericaceous have a problem with taking up iron and magnesium when soil conditions are too alkaline. Now, back in the day with the Victorians, what they used to do was to try and cope with the lack of iron, was they put rusty nails underneath the root ball when they're planting. Nowadays we don't. You can still do that if you can get an iron nail, of course. But we use an ericaceous compost. Do you want to come down here and see this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so unless your soil, do you want to come a bit nearer? So unless your soil is naturally acidic, and you can either have that soil tested or just have a look around and see what people have grown in their gardens, and if there's a predominance of ericaceous plants, then you can probably consider that you are in an area where the soil is naturally acidic. But if not, you can soil test it. I know ours is alkaline, so what I'm going to do is I've dug a square hole. You always dig a square hole so that the roots can actually find their way to the corners and get out into the wider soil. Alright, ericaceous bag, usually very easy to spot. Ericaceous written on it, usually a pink or purple bag. Right. I've got a bit in the bottom. That's top quality. Well done, Westlands. Oh, and this is a lovely form. This is Camellia Desire. I really love this. I'll throw a little picture up of it so you can see what it looks like. But it's absolutely gorgeous. One, I'm not a big fan of pink plants, but you got to admit, this is absolutely stunning.
Right.
Right, so it's on a base of ericaceous. I'm going to backfill around the outside of ericaceous and water in, and that is all you need to do.
Fabulous.
You know, with regard to the soil type. Now you can feed with ericaceous fertilizers like miracid. That's a great one. Or you know, hydrangea colorant. There's a little trick there for your hydrangea colorant, or for blue hydrangeas is also very good. So sequestered iron. That's what's in these products. Very good. So anyway, enough of that. We'll go on to what's the second problem. Okay, so the second biggest mistake that people tend to put in, at least in my opinion, is planting them in the wrong place. Now, camellias, they like to be in shade to semi-shade. They don't want to be in full sun. So we've got this one here. This is on a west facing border. It's also got the tree to shade it as well. So it gets sun in the evening, which is absolutely fine. But if you have it in full sun all the day, you tend to get scorched. They don't like that very much at all. So position important, shade to semi-shade. Okay, number 3. Now number 3 is all about getting these big buds. So it's February. You tend to, depending on which variety cultivar you have, start flowering now, and you can get them flowering up until May, depending on the variety. They've only got like a 2-3 week flowering period. Anyway, see this? Full of big bud. Now, the third biggest mistake that people do with these is they prune them at the wrong time of year. Oh my goodness me. Or they prune them back way too hard. Now, have a look at this one. Now, don't get me wrong, camellias will take vicious pruning. I mean, look how far back I had to cut this one.
Cut this back really strong. I mean, yeah.
And the reason why I did this was because it was in the heavy shade of this tree. This tree hadn't been pruned when we moved in. It was almost like entirely covered in it. So it was so shady, but quite an old plant. So all this did was just decided to grow over the fence into the field and flower over there. Now I think this one is Debbie, pink one, very popular pink one. Now we pruned this, and of course a heavy prune, a really hard prune. This is the, so we pruned this just under a year ago.
Yeah.
Now although that would have been the right time of year, it's too hard for it, so there's no flower bud on this. This is just leaf bud. But if you want to prune your camellia lightly, at all, you don't really prune them, only the shape or take out dead bits. You prune immediately after flowering. You know, you do not do that later in the year, because you'll remove all those these baby buds that need to overwinter. So pruning, try not to do it. Do it if you have to, like this one. Don't expect it to flower the next year. This should flower the second year, so this flower. But yeah, got to prune immediately after flowering, otherwise no blooms that next year. Right, number 4 biggest mistake that people make when growing camellias is watering. The watering can is your friend. You have a hot summer with an extended period of drought, and plants like these are they're gonna get too dry, and one of the things they do is they will drop their buds if they get stressed. Now, you see this is here, right next to it, big tree. Right, and the roots will come out to the edge of the canopy. So there's roots all the way under here.
Yep.
And this tree is going to take more water out of the ground than this. So if you've got a plant planted next to a tree, or you've got a summer where it's an extended period of drought, remember to water, because you'll lose your buds, they will drop off. That is a big one, be careful of that. Right, could you see me? No, you couldn't, because there's a tree in the way. So remember, if you've got a window over there and you've got your camellia over there, when that flowers, you've got to be able to see it. So get the position right. Don't hide it away. Don't stick it behind the plant. Don't put it somewhere where when it flowers, something's going to grow in front of it. Just think about where you're planting. You know, it's a fantastic plant. It flowers when very little else is flowering. So that's my 5th mistake for you. It's a bit, there you go.
Plant it where you can enjoy it and see it.
I mean, look, that one over there. You couldn't see it because the tree canopy come over it. Standing here, you can't see that one, but you know, you could always move your head. But that's the last thing. That is the last thing. Plant it where at the flowering time it will be visible, so you can get the most of the enjoyment out of it. Anyway, that is my 5 common mistakes when planting camellias that you should avoid. If you've got any ones that I've missed, you want to add to the comments and do that. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.